Good morning. This is Kamera again. We're on day number 52, Numbers chapter 23 through 25. This is my third attempt with this video. Keep stopping on me. I had to clear some stuff out. Oh my gosh. But anyway, hopefully we make it all the way through this time. Anyway, we left off yesterday where children of Israel are on their way to Moab. Moab king Balak sees them, everyone gets scared in Moab. And so they send for Balaam, who has the gift of communicating with God. He can also, bless, curse. Basically, God will give him that gift to bless and curse. Anyway, God visits Balaam and says, nope, can't do it. They are a blessed people. Cannot curse them. So Balaam let Balak know that he's powerless. After several attempts, Balaam goes to Balak, and with God's permission, and Balak shows Balaam what he's up against. He shows him the children of Israel, and so Balaam's like, listen, let's go ahead and build 7 altars. I need you to build 7 altars, and we're going to need 7 bulls, 7 rams. And so once that is done, we're going to sacrifice. They sacrifice a bull, a bull and a ram on each one of the altars. And so they separated. Balaam went one way, I guess on a hill. Balak stayed near the burnt offerings until Balaam came back. While there, Balaam had God approached Balaam, and the whole purpose of Balaam going was to to the hill or separate himself from Balak was to consult the Lord. So he goes to the Lord, and then the Lord gives him instructions on what to tell Balak. So they go back to Balak. Remember, Balak wants Balaam to curse the children of Israel. Balaam has already told Balak that I can't, I'm powerless. No matter what you give me your everything you got, basically. Your palace filled with silver and gold. I can't do anything. I'm powerless. So now, after the 7 altars, burnt offerings, Balaam spoke to God. God gave him a message. Now Balaam is back to tell Balak what God wanted him to know. So Balaam begins to explain who the children of Israel are, whose they are, how great in number they are. Not what Balak expected. He has a tantrum and says, I told you to curse them, not bless them. You're blessing them, and I told you to curse them. Balaam reminds him, what did I tell you before I even came here? I can't. I'm powerless. It doesn't matter what you give me. I cannot curse them. I'm powerless. Balak takes Balaam to a different location and said, okay, this is what we'll do. He's trying to accomplish the same thing, but trying to look for loopholes to get him what he wants accomplished. So then he takes Balaam to a different section, a different location, and shows him like a fraction of the children of Israel and said, just curse them. Just curse them. Balaam is build 7 more altars, get 7 more young bulls, get 7 more rams. Let's do this thing. So you go ahead and have that burnt offering. Balaam leaves to go talk to the Lord. All right. God tells him, okay, tell him this. So Balaam goes back to Balak to deliver the message that God gave him. What Balaam says is, he starts to explain who God is. Let him know that God is a God who doesn't lie. He's not going to change his mind. He is with them. So again, you can't curse them. Balak he's so upset. This boy in his tantrums. But we already told you this. You're not listening. Okay, you're not listening. And so Balak, this guy is a trip. He's still looking for that loophole. He said, okay, well, let's do this. Don't curse them. Okay, I'm not going to ask you to curse them. But I am going to ask you not to bless them as well. That loophole, right? Yeah. So the Spirit came upon Balaam, and Balaam just started, again, talking about the children of Israel, who they are to God, how numerous they are. their purpose. He starts to prophesy against Moab. Told them that children of Israel are going to crush them. He talks about the different areas in Moab, the different clans, what's going to happen to them. Assyria comes into the fold, all that stuff. So once that was done, Balaam goes back home. He leaves, goes back home. Balak throws up his hands. I use throws up his hands, but anyway, he eventually left. So anyway, how about this? Okay, children of Israel are now nearer or closer to Moab, to their destination, and they made camp. While clearly they're in a Moabite territory, the men of Israel starts to sleep with the women of Midian, who is a clan of the Moabites. They start defiling themselves. They start, the women inviting them to the sacrifices that they are having for their gods. God is furious, totally upset. He calls Moses, tell Moses, I need you to call these. I need you to kill the ringleaders. I need you to kill them, execute them, grab them, execute them in broad daylight. So Moses goes to the judges of each one of those tribes, and he tells them, I need you to handle this. Every man who's gone out and done this, I need you to handle that situation. While he's in the assembly talking to the judges, we get this bold brother who walks in. This brother's so bold, he brings a female on his arm. Takes the female, well, I'm saying on his arm, along with him, we'll say that. Takes this female into his camp, female, a Midianite. Takes this female, and let me just point out, this guy, I don't remember his name, but I know he's from the tribe of Simeon. And this girl is, I think she's a princess of the leaders of the Midianite clan. Anyway, they go into his tent and get cozy. Phinehas is a priest. Phinehas is the grandson of Aaron. Aaron was the high priest who walked around with Moses right from the beginning. Aaron no longer, he's gone. Aaron passed the mantle to his son, Eleazar. Eleazar is the high priest now. But remember, Aaron's descendants are priests. So Phinehas, Eleazar's son, the priest, gets up, leaves the assembly, runs over there, grabs a spear, runs into the tent, just stabs the guy who offended the children of Israel, and it goes through to the female, through her stomach. So you guys already know what's going on right now. Anyway, he kills them both. At some point, I don't know if it was as soon as he brought that that disrespect into God, that guy brought the disrespect into the camp. Is that when the plague started? Not certain, but I can tell you this, that once Phinehas had done that, in his zeal, God stopped the plague that was affecting the children of Israel. 24,000 people died from that plague, but it only stopped because God saw the zeal that Phinehas had. God was very impressed with that. He was like, he has the same zeal I have. One person. There's one person who just out of the blue was like, oh, you disrespecting now. We're finna handle this situation. God is not pleased with this. You're defying the children of Israel. Yeah, so as for me and my house, we shall serve the Lord. No defiled thing is coming to my house. Not if I can help it. If I see it, it's not going to happen. So it is up to us to make sure our house is kept as pure as possible. I'm not going to say your house is going to be 100% pure, but you do all that you can in your ability to make sure that there is nothing offensive to God going on in that house. Okay, but let me tell you, God was so impressed with Phinehas and his zeal, his enthusiasm to do what was right, that God made a covenant with Phinehas. So, I mean, think about it. It's just one person out of hundreds of thousands of people. And not only that, you have the elders and the different priests there, and it was him who got up and ran and took care of the situation. No questions asked. He took care of that situation. So you guys, no matter what's going on, you don't wait on what the next man is going to do. Do what God needs you to do. Okay? A couple things here. We see that the children of Israel You cannot curse the children of Israel. Balaam even said that if God bless it, there's no way anyone can curse it. Balaam was powerless. Even your enemies, guys. It doesn't even have to be where it's voodoo or sorcery or anything like that. That's what they were talking about doing. Voodoo, sorcery, what have you. But what about those enemies that talk about you behind your back, that do bad things to you? We saw in children of Israel, okay, we're not Moses, but God doesn't like it when we talk about people behind their back. You see what happened with Miriam? She got leprosy early in the books. Okay? But look at this, the enemies, period. They are a non-factor when God is in it. You don't have to worry about all that. Okay, not to say we're not going to go through things, but keep your eyes on God. You're going to be victorious in the end. If God allows something that's not good to happen to you and you know you're in the will of God, just learn the experience. That's it. Learn. God, what do you want me to learn from this? Don't bring that stuff on yourself, okay? Also, it was just wonderful the way things, you see God in this thing. You see us in this thing, how we get sick and tired and want to do our own thing. And you see what happened with these people. They start sleeping with other people that were outside of God's will. You see what happens when that defiled thing come in your territory, and what happens? Everybody else is affected. Your household is affected by what you allow to go on in your home. And so in that case, they used drastic measures. They really did. We thank God that Jesus Christ is not that serious anymore, but God is still the same God. Those defiled things, unacceptable. And so Phineas, he took the initiative to do what needs to be done. That was Numbers chapter 23 to 25, and that was day number 52. 52 days straight of getting to know God in a more personable way, and seeing who he is, looking at his character, seeing ourselves, who we are, our character, because we can't really judge the others because we do crazy stuff just like them. And you got to see what their mindset could have been that drove them to do certain things. That's us. Total rebellion. The murmuring, complaining, all of that, guys, is very important that you see their character and try not to be there. And if you see that you have a strong sense of being that person not that person, God created you uniquely, but having those characteristics that are not pleasing to God, don't get in that stubborn mode. Well, it is what it is. I am who I am, and I'm not going to be a fool for anybody. Well, the best person you can be a fool for is God. You should be the one who you should be wanting to please. And yeah, it's going to feel like you're a fool sometimes, but it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter what anybody else say. Everybody else is a non-factor when God is concerned. When it comes to pleasing God, why would you want to please someone who can really, their opinion is not as valuable as God's. And God's only going to tell you how to love. That's it. Love, love, love. And have no other God before me. Remember I told you guys earlier that God allowed children of Israel to destroy people who were serving other idols or doing wicked things. One of the things that was mentioned in this story here is that they were worshiping other idols. Okay, so again, we're Numbers 52. No, day 52, Numbers 23 through 25. Okay, you guys have a blessed, God-filled day.